I've been waiting to do this video, this compatibility video, for a little minute. Sagittarius and Gemini. This is capiche. I think this is going to be one of my favorite compatibility videos. Hey you guys, it's P, the Sagittarian goddess. Hey you guys, my name is Portia, and I am bringing you another compatibility video. If you landed on this video, then you must be interested in the compatibility between the Sagittarius and the Gemini. I think I have way too much good stuff to say about this couple. There are a couple rifts and obstacles that this couple could face, but Sagittarius and Gemini, these sister signs together, is an incredible couple. It's like almost like you're meeting your twin, like the Parent Trap. When the twins are trying to trap their parents. No, that's not the movie. Oh shit. Never mind. But y'all get what I'm saying. It's like when two twins lost at birth, like sister. When two twins, is that never mind, y'all. Just never mind on that. But guess what? A Gemini is gonna laugh at my Sagittarius self. A Gemini is going to find humor in what I just said. They're not going to be all critical and like, oh, she forgot, she don't know. Like, oh, she forgot, she don't know. That's not it. When a Sagittarius and a Gemini gets together, it's like, is it a match made in heaven or on earth? However you want to put it, that's what it could feel like. That's what it could feel like, especially when the Sagittarius and the Gemini are first getting to know each other. They're going to find each other very hilarious. They're going to be able to like bounce off of each other's humor very, very easily. They're just going to get it. You know how some people, you got to force them to get a joke or force them to get something. But the difference between the Sagittarius and Gemini is that they're just being themselves. So the stuff that they say is automatically funny to the other person. And if you're not a Sagittarius and a Gemini, then you probably won't understand what I'm saying. But if you are a Sagittarius or a Gemini and you have sat down and actually gotten to know or have a friend that's a Gemini or Sagittarius, then you know what I'm talking about. The connection between these two is sort of kind of hard to explain. Actually, it's like more so you have to kind of be in it and feel it. But I'm going to do my best to break down why these two make an incredible couple. The Gemini is mutable air and the Sagittarius is mutable fire. The Gemini is very intellectual, very quick-witted, and the Sagittarius is like soaking it all in really, really fast, ruled by Mars and Jupiter. Broad-minded, and the Gemini is very quick with like knowing things. Like they always have an answer to something. It's like the Gemini is always going to have an answer to what the Sagittarius has to say, and the Sagittarius is going to love this because the Sagittarius sometimes can have moments where they may procrastinate on things. The Gemini is going to like come in with these ideas, and the Sagittarius is going to feed off of that, and they're going to get to work. Like these two make not only great romantic partners, great friends, great business partners. They're just great together. They're really great together when they're self-aware and when they're able to be empathetic towards the other person and able to be versatile. But this is in their nature. They're mutable. So they're able to do this naturally without like force. Like these two are not going to feel forced. When the Sagittarius and the Gemini together, it's not going to feel like someone is making them be around each other. It's because they want to be. These two have a very free-spirited type of mind. They like to do their own things. They like to follow their own they like to make up their own trends and things of that nature, and they really complement each other very, very well, especially in communication. The Sagittarius is able to pick up on certain cues that the Gemini isn't necessarily saying, like with their body language. Like it's really a nice combo, y'all. It's a lot. it's a really nice combo. And the Gemini is able to also pick up on the Sagittarius, because Sagittarius can be like broad in its speech. They can be, especially with a Mercury, they can be very like hard to like pick out the details. With the Gemini being quick, they're able to like understand like exactly where the Sagittarius is coming from. Like, this is, the communication will be on point with these two, especially if they are good with their communication, if they practice good communication, if they're open. These two are able to like know what the other wants even without saying anything. Like, it's like chemistry, like real deal chemistry between the Sagittarius and the Gemini. And the Gemini being, you know, represented by the twins, they can come off as if they have like multiple personalities, but the Sagittarius can too, because they can be so broad that it can just be hard to like understand them as an individual. They're seem like they're many individuals in one. They're very free spirited. And the Gemini is the same way, just in a different way, more in an intellectual way. Sagittarius more so in a spiritual way. And they're able to complement like their spirituality and their intellect together. It really makes a really teachable. These two are very teachable with each other. They allow each other to speak, and they actually learn from the other person. Like, they can have a very profound respect for the other's way of communication. Like, they could really come off as two people who can listen to each other for hours and hours, talking about different topics, and never really get bored. Almost, you know, just want more. They just constantly will want more from each other. And these two can be inseparable, but because these two are mutable, they are going to appreciate their alone time apart, and they're fine with that. They're really okay with having that time apart. The Gemini will want to do their own thing, and the Sagittarius will want to do their own thing. And then when they come back together, they're going to share the things that they did, and then they're going to teach each other about some of the things that they did, and then they're going to choose to do some things together. But a lot of times these two can be okay with like being apart for a while, but they're going to come back together. And when they come back together, they're going to have a lot to say and bond off of. The stuff that they actually talk about, they actually bond off of. It's not just talking. Although when operating from a lower vibration, they can just talk and it not be meaningful, especially for the Gemini, because the Sagittarius, they're all about meaning. So the Sagittarius could, you know, be more sentimental and be more, I would say, I would hate to say honest, but the Sagittarius is going to be, they're going to be more into the Gemini. They could be more into the Gemini. The Gemini could take more time to like get into being into the Sagittarius. Not saying that the Sagittarius isn't highly attracted to, not saying that the Gemini isn't highly attracted to the Sagittarius and all of that good stuff. It's just that the Gemini has so much going on. Like, they have a lot going on. They're trying to be multiple people. Not intentionally. It's just their personality. They're mutable, so they take in a lot of information. And it could take them some time to come around and be like, hey, Sag, I like you a lot. You know, it could take them some experience and take them, you know, to gain more knowledge in order for them to feel more connected, you know, on an intimate level with the Sag. Attraction there from the jump with these two. They can be like overly attracted to each other, that it can get them like into trouble, maybe in public places and stuff like that. But that's another video, y'all. That's another video. But the Sagittarius is going to really appreciate the Gemini's knowledge. The Sagittarius is going to be able to learn so much from the Gemini that they could become addicted to this knowledge, because the Sagittarius is a knowledge truth seeker. So if they have this Gemini bringing them all this information, you know, and the Sagittarius doesn't take this lightly, because the Sagittarius is very sentimental, and they like to be honest, and they like justice, and they're very fair. So when the Gemini shares things with them, the Sagittarius is soaking it all in, and they appreciate it, because it takes a lot for some people to open up, and the Sagittarius understands this. And so the Gemini is going to really, really appreciate Sagittarius showing that they appreciate this. The Sagittarius is not going to sugarcoat how they feel about the Gemini, if they have feelings for the Gemini, because the Gemini provides a space to where, this is what I love about Geminis as well, they provide a space for the Sagittarius in particular to just be themselves. Like, they invite the Sagittarius in to be themselves, and it's just like a great time, fabulous time with these two in communicating. The Sagittarius is not going to hold back, because why not? They feel like that the Gemini is, a safe place to communicate. They feel that, they understand what they're saying. So the Sagittarius, if they're interested in the Gemini, if they're highly attracted to the Gemini, they're going to let it be known, whether it's with their words or with their body language. Either way, the Gemini is going to understand. They're going to understand what this means, and they're going to really, really complement each other in communication very, very well. Gemini is ruled by planet Mercury, so you have to understand this is very, very great communication. Sagittarius could have a hard time with details and communicating details, but Gemini has the Sagittarius back, so this provides a great space for romance and intimacy with these two. Very playful as well. They can be very playful. Any Sagittarius with an air sign is going to have a high level of playfulness, but I find that the Gemini in Sagittarius is the most playful. The Gemini can be a little bit more serious at times. The Sagittarius can kind of go all out with it sometimes and maybe take it a little too far for the Gemini, but the Gemini is a mutable sign, so they can roll with the punches really well. The Sagittarius can do the same with the Gemini. These two are awesome together. Like, the more I think about it, the more I just feel all fuzzy inside, because the Sagittarius and the Gemini are like, I feel like they could be like Bonnie and Clyde type of energy, because you have to understand, when someone is like going around robbing banks and stuff, and like risking their lives, they have to have a certain level of like boldness. The Sagittarius is very bold. The Gemini is they can be very outspoken. They can really, any mutable sign can really like not get in a mode where they can really not care about the risks. And with Sagittarius being a risk taker, like these two, this can be a hell of a couple to mess with. Like, if they're really close to each other and they have created a bond and they're out in public, like the Sagittarius and Gemini together, like, you don't want to mess with them together, because they're going to like feed off of each other. Their communication is on point. The Gemini is like, you ready? So I get it, I'm ready. It's like they could really when they're not self-aware, or they're in a moment of like anger or irritation, it could really they could really provoke each other without the other like realizing it. I'm not saying that they would want things to escalate, but because they're so in tune with one another, if the Sagittarius or the Gemini is upset, then the other one is going to like be able to interpret that. And if they have a bond, they're not going to like that their partner is upset. They're not going to like it. They're going to want to protect them. They're going to want to stand up for them. Sagittarius would definitely stand up for their Gemini, and vice versa, especially if the Gemini feels as though the Sagittarius is being disrespected, because the Gemini really respects the Sagittarius, as an individual, and the Sagittarius respects the Gemini as an individual. And the Gemini is not they're going to change their face real quick and correct who's ever there, because it's going to be hard for them to like turn the other cheek. They can, but it takes a lot of work for these two, because they both can be very outspoken, and they can be very quick to act and quick on their feet, quick to think. They can be very witty. So when you have someone who's witty, they're not sitting here going, should I do that? Should I not? That takes practice for these two. So they can really like learn a lot. They can go down together, or they can grow up together. They can mature together. They can really see the other mature in a drastic way in this relationship, because they can be very childlike for a long time during their lifespan, and they can really bring out the best and the worst in each other. And if they can get through bringing out the worst in each other, they can really grow and prosper as a couple. So so you guys, this is P, the Sagittarian goddess. I hope you all enjoyed this video on the Sagittarius and Gemini compatibility. This couple is the bomb. This couple makes a great friendship, great romantic couple, all of that good stuff. Of course, any relationship is going to take work. Be sure to check out your entire birth chart. Just because your sun sign is in the sign of Sagittarius and Gemini, that does not automatically make you compatible or incompatible. So understand, we are made up of many, many different layers. So be sure to check that entire birth chart. I will see you all in the next video.